Hey all, Hipper here. So with Colbert gone, it's now the end of the test period for the first real agile legendary cruiser. And I'm as excited as you guys to see how it fared. So I did my data extract from Wargaming, and I'll go through the results with you in this video here. So stick around, but first let's just have a look at my build, because I insist on an agile build on this cruiser here, and that's what I've been using in every battle. So roux, and of course double rudder, and we get the rudder down to 2 seconds and 37 knots before speed boost. So with speed boost you can hit more than 44 knots in this thing here. Very agile, and look at that turning circle as well, 620 meters. So for the time we had this ship here, I tried to do as many solo battles as I did division battles, and 3-player divisions at that. So I would like to have done 100 of each, but I just simply didn't have the time. So this is only an indication of what this ship is capable of. And as you see, I did, let's just say 30 battles of each, 29 solo and 30 battles in a 3-player division. So obviously I'm by myself in the solo battles, and in the division battles I think I did about half of them with Peak and Aaron, which is like, you know, semi-serious gameplay, and the other half I did with a couple of other cruiser fanatics, where we pretty much all did triple Colbert divisions, which of course is more of a meme build and just more with the fun, you know, but it should still give at least a bit of a picture for you guys. So if we look at the solo stats first, then I did 29 battles and I won 20 of those. And again, I just want to underline, 30 battles is not enough to say anything with certainty. You need at least 200 battles. But I said I just couldn't do more than this, so this is what you're going to have to live with. So do the math on that, and that gives you a solo win rate of 69%. And I see this falling a bit. They always do in the first 100 battles or so, so I'll probably stabilize around 65, 64 or something like that, if the ship stays the same as it is here in the rental version. Alright, next up, so if we look at the 3-player division battles here, then I did 30 battles of those, and we won 24 of them. And that's pretty much exactly the same as most of my other ships in divisions. Actually a little bit lower, most of my others are about 85%. So obviously this one pans out for an even 80% win rate. So if you take those two numbers and add them up and do a little bit of math, and of course I have a few 2-player divisions as well, you end up with an overall win rate of 72% on Colbert. So quite respectable, one of my best actually. And like I said, it's not enough battles to say anything with absolute certainty, and the ship might change as well, but so far it's looking really, really good. Alright, so let's have a look at the more nitty-gritty stuff here. And remember, I have 29 solo battles and 30 division battles, so it's the same you know, amount of battles. And you can see here the average damage is way higher in my division battles. So this whole talk about here that oh, when you play in division you have to share the damage with other players, yeah, that seems like a bit of a BS thing, to be honest, because this is the same result on all my other division ships as well. Anyway, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one is the highest damage I achieved, and again division is far ahead by almost 50,000 damage here. And of course this is probably more of a lucky thing, that depends on your matchmaking and who you're up against and stuff. And again, 30 battles is not enough to say anything, but again the damage is higher in a division. So next up we'll look at the average base XP per battle here. And this is what's called original XP in the extract, and there's sort of an agreement in the community that this is the actual base XP without any bonuses applied, not even the win bonus. But can't be sure. But anyway, this is the lowest XP numbers there are, so those are the ones we're going to use. And you can see they're roughly the same. Division is a little bit higher by around 50 XP, but nothing to really, lose your pants about. Alright, so that was the average base XP, or original XP as it's called in the extract. So let's look at the highest, just like with the damage. And here, solo is far ahead by nearly 4,500 base XP. To my knowledge, this is the highest base XP anyone has gotten in Colbert. I haven't seen any higher. So if anyone out there has a higher base XP, please let me know. But so far, this is the record, I guess, until Colbert comes back again. I haven't seen any higher, so if I'm wrong, correct me and let me know where I can find the battle result that shows a higher base XP than that one there. Alright, next up, let's look at survival percent. And not that it really matters that much, but there was such a huge difference that I thought it would be interesting to see. So you see solo just under 50%, while in division it's pretty much 2 out of 3, which is a massive difference, and something that goes again in all my other ships actually. Nothing really out of the ordinary here with Colbert. Okay, next up, let's look at average frags, or average kills, whatever you want to call it. It's called frags in the data extract. So solo is actually higher by 1.2 and division is 1. But again, this needs to even out over more battles, at least 200, probably actually 500 until it's a more, fair picture. Because in 30 battles you could just be lucky to kill 3 destroyers in one match, and it's going to skew the results. So take this one with a grain of salt, guys. Okay, lastly, let's just have a look at spots here, because when you play solo, obviously a lot of the time you have to spot for yourself, so your spotting will be obviously much higher. In a division, you usually have, well, at least sometimes you have a destroyer to spot for you, which obviously makes things a lot easier, and it allows for more, safe gameplay where you don't have to put yourself in, the line of fire to be able to actually see the enemies. So anyway, solo 1.4 and division 0.8, so a huge difference there. And this is one of the reasons I prefer an agile build on my cruisers, because it means I can spot for myself. I don't need anyone else to do the spotting, and I love that. So all in all, this is a very strong performance from Colbert, but I don't think it's anything particular. I don't have enough battles in Minotaur to compare them yet, but they seem very similar and pretty much on par with the other legendary ships. So I don't see any reason to think that Colbert is overpowered in any way. From my little experiment here, it seems like it fits pretty much into the average results, at least for me. I only know what I do, of course. I cannot compare to the rest of the community, but from what I can see, it seems pretty balanced, actually. So what can we learn from this? Well, first of all, in my opinion, Colbert is not overpowered in any way. It is a cruiser and it's facing very, very powerful ships. And obviously, Minotaur and Yamato are the biggest threats, because first of all, Yamato can just overpen you anywhere and Citadel you anywhere, basically. And with regards to Minotaur, then that AP of, that ship is just going to chunk away at your meager 36,000 hit points very, very quickly in Colbert. You have to be extremely careful around Minotaurs. So this is definitely not a ship with any without like a soft belly, like unlike Weimar or stuff like that. And like you don't have torpedoes and you don't have radar, so you are limited in your utility. And I think that's what makes this ship here quite nice, quite balanced, and obviously I highly recommend an agile build on this ship. And you can also see from my stats that it works out beautifully. I wouldn't play it any other way, that's for sure. So what's another thing we can see from this? And it's actually quite interesting to see, like, if the same player plays the same ship in the same amount of battles, solo and in a division, you can see here what the difference actually is. And although I said the solo percentage is probably a little bit too high, I think it'll settle around 65 later on, but the division is actually a little bit too low. All my other ships are around 85%. This one is 80, and it's probably because of all the meme triple Colbert divisions we've been doing. Good fun though. So anyway, it shows that, at least for me, I cannot speak for anyone else in the game or in the community, of course, but for me, the difference between my solo win rate and my division win rate is about 20%. For this ship, it's not, because it hasn't really settled down yet. But when I look at my total stats, I can see my solo win rate is 58, and my division, 3-player division win rate is 78. So yeah, for me it's 20%, which is a massive difference. And again, a reason that you cannot just compare win rates between players, because say I did 90% of my battles in a division, then obviously my win rate would be skewed completely out of proportion. And like, yeah, it's just not possible. Like, you will need to compare win rates solo versus division, and actually solo versus 2-player division and 3-player division, to make it completely fair. Alright, enough talk about numbers here. Now let's talk about the ship, because do I think it will be changed before it comes out for real? No, I don't think so. I actually think Wargaming might even buff it a little bit. I don't know how they're going to do it. Probably the hit points are going to be higher. I'm expecting it to come out at about 38,000 instead of 36,000. But we'll see what actually ends up happening. Because, of course, I cannot see the combined stats for this ship for the month it was out for all players. But from what I've seen in the ship when I've been playing it, people have had a pretty hard time making any sort of impact on the battle in this thing here. I've seen a lot of death strikes, even more than I've seen on Minotaurs actually. And without torpedoes and radar, a lot of people just tend to sit in one spot and bow tank in this ship here until a Yamato takes them out in one salvo. And well, I don't know what the total stats show, but I'm pretty sure that this ship might actually get a little bit more hit points, I think. I mean, in the beginning I was thinking, oh, it should lose a heal, and probably for me it should, but from what I saw, I think that a bit of a hit point buff is probably the way to go, or probably the speed could be raised a little bit as well, probably to 39 knots or something like that. But of course that would make the ship extremely fast at 47 knots with the speed boost on. But anyway, I think that would also be appropriate, honestly. So as I'm sure you've guessed, I am very excited to have this ship here back in the game. I don't know when it'll happen. I'm hoping next update, because yeah, I just want it. And I don't want it to be a bureau ship. I want it to be global XP, because that means I can just buy it outright on day one. I don't have to like go through the whole rigmarole of researching and yada 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 in the bureau, where it takes a month for no reason at all. Like, why should it take a month? Anyway, for me, this ship here has meant, this ship and Minotaur actually, has meant that Legendary tier is now my most played tier. And that was definitely not the case before Christmas, the Christmas update. Then Legendary tier was pretty much my, I'm not, maybe not my least played tier, but definitely not my most played tier. But with Minotaur and Colbert in the game for the last month, I've pretty much been playing exclusively Legendary tier, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because it means that Legendary tier is on its way to be rectified. Like, the balance is getting there. We're getting like more of a balance between the ship types, and that's an extremely good thing. And I don't know why Wargaming waited this long to put this kind of cruisers in the game. So anyway, that was the Colbert here, and this was a division with the Where Are You, Aaron, by the way. As you can see, solid ship, not overpowered, but absolutely solid in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.